this isn't my first broadcast to, in case you haven't seen any of my other work anywhere, and this is the first time you're running into this, my stuff, give you a little intro to who I am, what I've been doing for the last, however many years. And in this video also, I wanted to cover a bit about my philosophy on health and just kind of share a little about my truth and, where I plan to take this channel just in general. So I'm Joshua Parker, and I have been involved with healthy kind of lifestyle stuff for over 20 years now, and this kind of digging into these topics has helped me a lot, and it's been, of course, lots of trials and tribulations and ups and downs along the road, but in this process I feel like I've learned a lot from it, and that's why I like to share what I learned so that it might be helpful to you out there. So definitely share your comments and feedback here on the channel. And also, just so you know, I'm a little bit basic with all this stuff. So when I'm doing the broadcast, I'm not really monitoring. I'm not able to, because I'm just doing these broadcasts. So I'm not like looking at live comments or anything like that. So don't expect an immediate response, but I will respond. So yeah. As far as my road, this is kind of the incarnation, or the latest incarnation of the company that I founded back around the turn of the millennium, Future Tech Today. So healthharmonic.com is kind of the latest incarnation of Future Tech Today, the online store for the company, and it's kind of more representative. The name is more representative of what I'm really putting out than Future Tech Today. At the time when I founded the company, Future Tech Today encompassed what I was trying to do, but actually originally my company was called Tesla Tech. And this was back in the 90s, and that was really confusing, because at the time, most people, when they thought of Tesla, they didn't think of the car yet. This was way before Elon Musk and all this stuff and his taking over of that name. But back in that era, people thought of the band Tesla, and not Nikola Tesla, the inventor, and who was one of my inspirations, and so, but Tesla Tech as a name really didn't ring so well, because it created a lot of confusion, because most people didn't know who Tesla was. So anyway, Health Harmonic is the latest incarnation of what I'm putting out there, and just to give you a little history, back a few years ago, I was sued for patent infringement, and this really threw a lot of questions in my reality. It made me question, who I am, what I'm doing, all this kind of stuff. Ultimately, kind of triggered me to kind of start some enterprises that offline that weren't all that successful ultimately, and kind of I went through some challenges with business for some time, but this company has never gone away, and it's definitely much more focused now. Now that I've gotten through all that patent infringement lawsuit stuff. It's a lot to deal with, regardless of whether I might have thought that it was a frivolous lawsuit and been, whatever I thought of it is it doesn't matter. But the fact is that anytime a company goes through being sued and the seriousness of litigation like that, it causes a lot of challenges. So getting through that, I'm now, just realizing this medium and the way the YouTube platform and the various video platforms have evolved now. It makes it real simple to broadcast here live on YouTube. Like 20 years ago we couldn't do that. So I'm excited to do these videos, these live videos, these live broadcasts consistently now, probably every week or so. And so I hope you like them and subscribe and do all that fun stuff, sharing and all that if you like what you're seeing. Most of what I'll be sharing on here has to do with electromagnetic health. That's kind of been my area of focus for the last 20 years. Area of research has been electromagnetic health. So, and as you notice from the website healthharmonic.com, you'll see that's the tools of that trade are the main products that I promote on there. And but in this video broadcast, I wanted to share a bit more about my philosophy, because I really am involved in a lot more than just electromagnetic health research. And even if a lot of what I publish is focused on electromagnetic stuff, I've gone through a lot with gut healing and things like that over the years, and I personally take a very holistic view on health, and I think that's a healthy way to look at life and just lifestyles. It's so important, really, that we create healthy lifestyles in what we do, no matter what we do. And so that's the truth that I speak in this, and that's what I'll be sharing. And trying to share like simple stuff, like some really basic stuff that I find is kind of often overlooked in all the just tons of information that's just out there so much. Some of the simple stuff just kind of gets overlooked. And one of the things that's come up a lot lately, of course, is this whole low carb and ketogenic type of diet lifestyle. And I've experimented quite a bit with that. And in future broadcasts, I'll share more about what I've been doing with that kind of stuff. But I think more importantly than that, my experience with going through a 3-month phase of on a really low carb, but I like to eat a lot of vegetables, so I don't think avoiding high fiber vegetables is important. That's just not, or at least for me, it wasn't something that I wanted to do. I know some of the keto folks are really into just avoiding all carbs, and that's not the angle I took. And like I said, I'll share more about that in future broadcasts. But the point I wanted to cover here is that what I found when I went through that program was, or that it was basically a 3-month cycle that I kind of a cleanse of sorts, where I found that when I was avoiding the real starchy processed carbohydrates, which aren't really big in my diet anyway, or weren't, but there were some, and when I avoided those on a general basis, I found that it was easier for me to break up my meals and not snack all the time, not be constantly craving snacks. And I think this is an important thing, really, as a philosophy. Like, if we're constantly craving snack foods all the time, or just foods in general all the time, there's something wrong. And I'm not here to tell you what's wrong with your diet, because I don't know you, or at least I don't know you that well. Some of you watching I might know somewhat, but like that, the point I'm trying to say is that if that's, and I was going through that. I was having these cravings at times, not all the time, but when I would have cravings and stuff, I found that my meals weren't broken up as much, and I was snacking all the time. And, who knows? For some people, that might work great. That might be fine for you. I'm not here to judge anyone's particular situation. We are all very unique individuals, and we deserve to be treated that way. But when I was able to break that cycle and get good hydration cycles between my meals, it made all the difference. And I believe that that's a really important part of the gut healing process. And I think that's why there's so much new emphasis on things like bone broth and all these liquid, like shakes and smoothies and things like this. We really need to be hydrating throughout the day. And in some of my cycles of life, in previous to where I've come to now, I feel like I was really good at hydrating in the morning, and because I was always real focused on that, but I neglected some of my hydration later in the day. And I think part of that came from having this kind of Eastern philosophy of not wanting to drink a lot of fluids when I eat, combined with this kind of snacking thing that often happens, and that for me, that led to a decrease in hydration as the day progressed, and I think that's a problem, and I also believe strongly now that this breaking up of the meals, it's kind of traditional, and it's kind of basic, and maybe you're already there, but I think this often does get overlooked. So whatever it takes to get you there, whether it's playing around with a low carb keto thing or something else, to get you satiated, and then I believe that can really help you get to the next level, and part of it, I think, is eating more fat, good fats, not processed fats, good raw fats, and some proteins. That made the difference for me. Like I said, I'm big on eating vegetables, so I didn't find it necessary to cut out high fiber vegetables from my diet, but I always try to eat lots of fat with them too, good raw fats, coconut oil, and other good clean fats like hemp oil and different kinds of raw fats, making sure to avoid processed fats when I can, which is pretty much how I choose to live, how the choices I make of what I put in my body. So that's why I'm real big on a big salad every day, especially this time of year and this climate where I live, where we can get these amazing local salads. In the winter we don't get quite the selection on that, but in the spring and summer, it's bountiful here, and so yeah, that's what I wanted to share today. Like I said, these broadcasts, I just plan to just share my truth, what and how I'm living, and in hopes that it can be of some benefit to some viewers out there and like yourself. And if you enjoyed this video, like I said, please share it and like it, and you can subscribe to the channel and stuff like that. And yeah, and in closing, just here's a turkey feather here up in this area, up in these trees up here. I pretty much live with a bunch of turkeys. This is one of the first feathers of the season that one of our blessed turkeys has shed. And so in closing, I'll close on the turkey feather. I'd like to give these away, but I'm not really sure how I can mail them to people without ruining them, and I'm also not sure how whether that's even legal or not, because I know there's some laws on feathers, these, because obviously there's some we don't want birds being killed for feathers. This was a feather that was just shed in the spring. Turkeys are really they fly. They're kind of an awkward flying bird, but they fly up into these trees, and without that flight, they wouldn't be able to protect themselves at night while they roost up in the branches up there. So yeah, they lose some feathers here and there. But anyway, thanks for watching this video and this live broadcast, and I look forward to sharing more in the future.